What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at a demo, or I guess a playtest, for a game called Hell Clock. Like many of you, I've been poop-socking the hell out of Path of Exile 2, and I've been on a little bit of an action RPG run for the last little bit, so I figured we would check out Hell Clock because how the developers described it in their email when they reached out to contact me was they said that they wanted to explore the idea of what it would feel like if you could condense an entire action RPG season into a single run of a roguelite. So today, we're going to be taking a look at the game. We're going to be seeing if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list, or if it's one of those games you would rather not play because it's not for you. Either or are perfectly fine, but you'll find the link down below to the playtest. They let me in instantly when I requested it last week. I just hadn't gotten around to checking the game out, and actually purely by coincidence, the developers emailed me this week. And so you can find that link down below. You can also find a link to my Discord and my Twitch stream just in case you wanted to hang out live. But let's go ahead and get after it. This game is called Hell Clock, as previously mentioned, and it's a game where you're some kind of guy. I don't really know what our guy is or what he's an officiant of, but you start out at a church and you have to dive down into this dungeon over and over and over again. The whole game is on a time limit. However, the time limit is debatable. You can completely and totally remove the time limit from the game if you want when you create your profile, and you're going to go down deep into the ground, slaying demons, monsters, rescuing people, bringing them back, which will give you access to new facilities through which you can upgrade your gear, get stronger, and do roguelite progression. As of right now, I'm on my second run. My first run, I played through a couple of maps, and then I just kind of like cut it off just to see what the metagame progression was going to look like. And so this is my second run of the game right now, going down on in. I've got kind of like a machine gun build going right now. The game does have a number of abilities for you to fool around with. And to me, the game kind of feels like a split between a Diablo-style game, but also Hades. The game is very swift, and the game is very lithe, and the game is very, I guess, dexterous in the way that it allows you to move around the map. And so anyways, right now, I'm just trying to farm up on this run and get things done. Now, the ways in which this game accomplishes sort of setting up the idea of an action RPG that you can play a full early game, mid game, and end game inside of like a 30-minute run is that every single item has been condensed down into a trinket. And we'll take a look at those in just a minute so that you can get a feel for it. But for right now, I gotta defeat the jailer, otherwise he's gonna become a large-scale problem for me before too long. Get in right there, dash back, looking good. Give him the Tommy gun, let him feel it. Perfect. And then from there, everything you have on you, much akin to something like Hades, gets upgraded every single time you pick up something with the same icon. So, let's have a look at that menu right there so that I can give some context and meaning to the words that I just said into your ear that probably, devoid of context, didn't mean anything. So every single run, you have 12 different types of trinkets. They drop like crazy off of almost every single enemy that you kill, and anytime you get one that's better than the previous one that you picked up, it looks to me like it just auto-swaps out whatever the strongest one that you found so far. And so things of the spirit have to do with your spell casting, everything up here with vigor has to do with your health, agility has to do with your cooldowns, your attack speed, your movement speed, stuff like that. Fury has to do with your damage, your critical hit chance, and the critical hit damage that you get on out. But wait, there's more. In between rounds, you can buy different equipment that you can put on your character using metagame currency. Your equipment can also find trinkets that will augment it and make it stronger as you go down into the dungeon, and we are blessed to say that your gear does show up on your character while you're wearing it. My first run, I was just some guy that looked like he was in a t-shirt running around the dungeon, but now I've got this killer little bowler cap right here. I've got like a trench coat around my shoulders. My gun has gotten nicer, and so these are all things that you're going to be available to do. A blessing of power, 10% more damage. I will absolutely take it. On top of that, your character does level up much akin to any other action RPG that you've ever played in your life. What that means is every single time you level up, you're going to get a Vampire Survivors style buff to your overall attributes and stats that will just flatly make you stronger. Typically, that's linked to some ability that you have on your bar right now. Oh no, dude, I ran out of mana at exactly the wrong point. And I'll explain explain why I don't like that I ran out of mana. So unfortunately, this game does have a little bit of a conflict in here that, to me, sort of prevents it from being as lithe and as elegant as it could possibly be, and that's the game is kind of set up right now to have two separate control methods, and the two control methods kind of like argue with each other while you're playing through the game. The specifics of that are, I'll give you an example here. So you can move around with W, A, S, and D, and in fact, this is the way that the game feels the best to play. And so, for example, in classic action RPG format, left click can move you around and left clicking enemies will do your auto attack on them. However, it makes the game feel very stutter steppy and whatnot because it continues reading mouse inputs. If you click and hold down on an enemy, you'll keep firing, but the second that enemy dies, it continues to take inputs and starts to move you in that direction. And that means that you fall back on WASD frequently so that you have much more precise movement. However, doing it with WASD kind of feels stutter-steppy and weird, and I haven't been able to get around it yet, but I do think that they're going to have to resolve that somehow before the game will get a recommendation out of me, just because I'm a big fan of games that feel super smooth when it comes to traversal and movement. Play around with the playtest and you'll see what I mean, and most of it has to do with just registering repeating keybinds while something is held down. I think if they fiddled with that a little bit, they could get the game feeling a lot better to move throughout the dungeon. However, I've avoided that liability entirely by hitching my entire horse to my right-click abilities and everything that is not an auto attack, and from there the game actually feels pretty decent to play, and so it just kind of depends if they can get the auto attacks combined with the movement feeling a little bit better. My suggestion would actually be just to twin stick it up and allow the player to move at like 50% speed while firing. That would actually, I think, take this game up to the next level, and it would be an easy recommend for me personally, because right now it's a game where you can definitely see the promise and you can definitely feel the good stuff inside of there, but the movement and auto-attacking and whatnot feeling very stutter-steppy is the one thing that's kept me from fully investing inside the title. And so I think if they could get it to a point where you could actually shoot and move at a reduced movement speed the entire time that you're kind of moving around the map and then just get rid of click to move altogether, I think this game would feel utterly fantastic to play, and it would be an easy hybrid to recommend in between Diablo and something like Hades. For right now, our clock's running a little bit low, so I kind of need to get out of here. We got another shrine right here. I've got a little bit of money to play around with. I don't know if that's going to be universal attack speed as it applies to my machine gun attack, but I'm going to pray that it does, because I need my machine gun attack to cost a lot less mana, and then from there, I also need it to fire a little bit faster while I'm mag dumping on these dorks. There's minus 20% mana cost, so that sounds pretty good to me. Let's take that so that we can fire for... Yeah, we're starting to get there where I can machine gun endlessly. And, you know, much is the case with every action RPG ever invented. Really, I think the core goal of action RPGs and the players who play them is just to get your entire gameplay loop boiled down to holding down one key and deleting the entire screen. So obviously that's what I'm doing right now, but I do have other abilities. I've got a knife ability right here that gives me an AoE around myself that anything that comes inside of here gets murked. Oh, I'm about to die. I'm running out of clock time right now. Those purples right there are soul shards. Does that do anything for me? I wish that it did something for me. It looks like it gave me money. Just keep machine gunning these guys down all over the place. There we go. Good stuff. Get you taken care of. All right. God, I love channeled abilities in video games. If you're anything like me, you are super attracted to one thing, and that's Death Beam channeled abilities in action RPGs, but we're out of time for the run, so back up to the surface we go with everything that we've unlocked and that we've accomplished, and so our descent is done, the Hell Clock is finished, and it looks like we got some new blessed gear inside of there. We got 175 meta currency to play around with. And then I think we'll be treated to a little cutscene right here. And I think as we get further on into the game, the cutscene gets more sophisticated as this guy remembers his past. I saw some stuff inside the trailer that sort of implied that, and so maybe we'll get some exposition during today's run. That face, my son, what troubles thee? When I walk amongst the shadows, mine sight doth begin to fade. Until the clock doth bring me back, it's not of God's making. Nothing here is. The vocals right now, I think, are entirely in Portuguese. I think they're entirely in Portuguese because the game is from Brazil. And then the more fun part about that is that, like, I kind of sort of speak Spanish. And so anytime I play a game that's in Portuguese, I can kind of tell what they're saying just from context because there's so many words that are incredibly similar and there's like a number of conjugates that kind of sound the same. It's one of those interesting things about Brazilian games whenever I play them or Portuguese games whenever they come around here. Our Canudos was the true miracle of the backlands, humble servants living as kings. Okay, well we can verify over here what we can possibly buy. So we could get a leather jacket that's got 5 more HP on it. We could get some bracers. That might work out for 5% attack speed. Critical hit chance would probably be spicy too. Let me see what I can buy over here at the skills table though before I go any further. So I've got my machine gun ability right there. We've got closed body. So I kind of like the ability. I like this old bell ability, but unfortunately I can't afford it for right now. And so I think we're actually, no, I can't. It's 100. Okay, I thought it was 350. We'll buy that. And then let's put that on our Q key real fast. I'm just not going to have an auto attack. We're going into advanced action RPG plays right now. I need wood to repair the stairs. All right, sounds like a plan to me. Can I afford anything? Let's get the attack speed boost right there for our bracers. I'll get the crit next time. Did it put bracers on my character? Oh, it didn't. Well, it put the jacket and the hat and everything on my character, so I figured it would put the bracers on him too. Let's dive back down into the dungeon and see if we can get ourselves set up with any kind of mayhem. Spray out the hallway, but unfortunately my mana efficiency is heavily gone right now. We've got double damage, or we got 50% more damage there for our knives, devastating barrage. Let me see what's up with this bell. So what's going on with the bell over here? What can I do with this bell? Another level up, critical damage increased by 100%. If we could get our crit up, that might be nice. I'll give it a go. So the bell is like a bunch of mana, and then it just does like an AoE. I feel it. I like it. Okay. Get you, get you. We've got a Trinket of Precision, which gave us critical hit chance, which is very nice because that's going to stack up with the bonus that we just got. The sound effects are very well appointed in this game. The hit feedback and the way that you interact with the enemies via shooting them in the face all feel very good and satisfying. I think they're 100% on the right track there because everything from just the general menu interactions to the sounds that level ups make to the sounds of enemies being hit by bullets, very explosive, very punchy, very in your ear, very, very good. And so I like that side of the game's design. Let's get you. We'll wipe you on out. And then down, down, down into Mephisto's Cafe. Alright, what do we have going on inside of here? Just a few more zombies? I need a couple more level ups is what I need. You guys throwing stuff at me? No throwing stuff at me, so that's good. I'm trying to, like, move as quickly as possible because this clock, man, it can be confining. Get all you guys. Maybe, like, drop... Oh, that does decent damage right there. That does more damage than I expected it to do. Very nice. Pull back out of here. Maybe drop that over there. Vent my mana a little bit on you guys. Perfect. Nice little level up right there. Dash speed up by 40%. Area of effect is larger right there. Shadow's Grasp. What does Shadow's Grasp do that requires an AoE update? It looks like it actually deals damage to any enemy that I dash through, which means that the area of effect that they've implemented on there will probably help out quite a bit with dealing a bit more damage. We do have an Estus Flask in this game. It kind of fills up randomly from killing enemies and finding potions on the ground, and so I haven't really run out of potions or anything yet in the time that I've spent playing the game. Granted, it's a playtest, so I've only played for like 30 minutes, but it felt so good to play in the first place that I was like, yeah, this is a pretty easy game to set up with coverage. Why not? Too many bell upgrades here. I'm just going to go for the 10% damage on my bells. Perfect. Got them. That felt really satisfying. I like that I can keep moving while throwing the bells out there. That's what I'm suggesting for just general channeling and general fighting as well, just at a reduced rate, and that's why that ability feels so good. There's probably a treasure chest right there, but we're low on time, so I'm just going to keep on hustling down into the dungeon and seeing what we could do next. What's up, boys? I need some mana reduction, something fierce. Hopefully we get it soon. Got you. Spray down that hallway. Some extra range for this gun would be nice, too, so that I could fire off screen. If the enemy can do it, I don't know why I can't do it. Oh, we're fighting for our survival right now? Beautiful. All right, well, let's just crush them to get them all up out of my nooks and crannies, because they are napping all up inside my crannies right now, and that is a non-designated area for the restoral of fatigue. Got that right there. Keep blasting you guys. They should have read the sign, man. I carefully placed it right next to my butthole, and they still didn't look at the sign. You know, you do everything you can. My dad's a roofer. I grew up roofing. I started roofing when I was like 8 years old as his apprentice. But anyways, there's always this thing, like, people don't pay attention, and I've always got this anecdote that I live by of when we were working on a roof. I was probably 17 years old when he and I were finishing this tear-off and installation, and there was a giant hole in the plywood underneath the felt. We had to felt it off because there was a chance of rain, and the felt was the only thing that was going to keep the house from leaking. Surprise storm blew in, and so we felted it off, and then we took bright red spray paint on the felt, and we circled the area where there was no plywood underneath it, and probably made something along the side. Plus, like, we wrote the words, "Do not step here," with a giant box in red, bright neon spray paint. And then underneath it, it said, "There is a giant hole here. Do not step here." And sure enough, one of the other teams that worked with us came through, and we came back on Monday, and there was a giant hole in it that had been patched, and somebody had fell through the roof, and they had to redo the installation. And it's like, no matter what you do, man, you put up signs, you try your best, and nobody pays attention and reads it. It's just construction sites 101. You try so hard, you get so far, and in the end, it doesn't even matter. What is that, a Shrine of Learning? Does that give me like an XP boost or something? Yeah, it does. 300% XP, so that'll be nice. I think we've got like a little room over here on the left that we can get on into, and maybe there'll be like a chest or something back here, or it'll be a giant waste of time. Kind of hard to tell. Got that. Okay, a few trinkets that I can't use. Maybe drop that on him. Light him up a little bit. It'd be cool if it was almost like Crazy Taxi. Like every time you killed, it would be satisfying too. If every time you killed a bad guy, there was like a pocket watch that dropped on a chain from this side of the screen with like plus 15 seconds on it, and then the soul gets sucked out of it and goes up to this meter over here, and it like shatters into ashes. They clearly have the art team available because the art in this game is utterly fantastic. And so, you know, it would make the game feel really good. Oh, our revolver got updated. Nice. I'll take that. If you're wondering why I have the dialogue turned off, it's because I can't focus on the game while people are speaking Portuguese. Because I speak partial Spanish, my brain spends time trying to decipher what they're saying while also playing the game and trying to dodge attacks and whatnot. And apparently it's just too much stimulation for my brain, and so I've got it disabled. But the voice acting is really, really good. I don't speak Portuguese, but the emotiveness and whoever the voice actor is that they've got working on everything in this game, very, very well done. And then we'll get down to the next floor and see what we can accomplish here. Pretty sure I can laser him down instantly for the metagame currency. What you got for me, baby? Give me something good here. Yeah, spray them down. Took a little bit of a scuffing right there from people's randomized bullets, but I'll take it. Just crush them with a bell real quick. Oh, I didn't have enough mana for the bell, I don't think. There we go. Just crush them on out before they get too far up on me. A little bit more cash. Love the jingling sound of the coins that you're picking up while you're going through the dungeon, too. Very satisfying sort of casino-like sound, which really should be the basic hallmark for sound design in any indie game, is just look at the sounds that a slot machine makes and copy it. That's what will make your game feel really good to listen to and hear and play as you're going through. Whoa, we mulched a whole bunch of bad guys right there. What you got for me right here? We've got Blessing of Swiftness, more attack speed. I'll go with critical hit damage because we're sitting, yeah, that took our critical hits up from like 900 to over 1,000. I'll definitely take it. Level up on this side, cool down on that, decrease or increase critical damage by even more. It seems like all of our eggs are in the basket for the next minute or so of critical strike damage, so I'll take it. I'm guessing there's some kind of metagame you're going to get as well that allows you to upgrade the amount of time that the clock gives you while you're diving down into the dungeon. But as of right now, I haven't seen it. Maybe it's upstairs after I fix the stairway. Yep, get all you guys knocked out. Have fun getting mulched. There we go. I don't have enough mana left to do what I want to do, so we'll just kind of like kite around for a minute while it comes back. Get them into a straight line. Oh, so satisfying, dude. The meat grinder here feels really, really nice. I don't know if they have plans to have more than one character as it sits right now. More critical chance. We want to get a lot of damage off. It's almost got like a torchlight feeling to it. That's kind of what it reminds me of. A very torchlighty feeling. Older torchlights, that is. Not the newer ones that were kind of like meh. But like the older torchlights. Ooh, that guy's got a shield. Oh, is he like a treasure goblin? I probably shouldn't be stopping to kill him, but I guess that's life. Yeah, he dropped a bunch of goodies right there. Let's get to the next floor and see if maybe we get a stay of execution. We did. We made it to the 7th floor and it froze the clock. Is it a boss? I see a lot of wooden stuff laying around, so maybe we'll get the wood to repair the stairs down here. The devil is truly alive. That just looks like a guy with a blonde mohawk. The merchant, thou hast robbed us and wrought our downfall. Okay. Get out of there. This is going to require a little bit more movement, I think. However, our damage seems to be where we want it to be. And as long as there's minions that we can kill, we should be in solid shape. As far as our health potion, oh, we got a lot of damage off right there. That was good. Nice and chunky. I'm gonna need the cooldown to come up faster on my dodge, I think. As far as future level ups go, I may have to put a little bit of time and a little bit of effort into that. However, it looks like we're fast enough to avoid him. There we go. Love that death effect. That looked really good. That was a solid death effect right there. What did I just pick up? Some really rad trinkets? Nice, dude. Exalted Trinket of Blight. We got all kinds of little things in here. Ooh, we get a bigger blessing. Convert split shot into a single bullet that deals physical damage equal to 92%. Okay, so I don't have split shot right now. I've got just repeater. Molten relic, all repeater damage turns into fire and adds a chance on hit to launch a grenade. Okay, yep. That's the one that I want right there. And we get a blessing of proficiency. Let's lower the cost of our bells by 10%. That sounds good. And then to the next floor. We've only got 6 seconds, so I doubt we're going to be able to accomplish much here. Yeah, I was going to say, we kind of ran out of clock time there right at the end, but I feel like that was a productive run that got us a little bit further. Honestly, almost a little bit of an incremental feeling to the game as well. So our gear has been blessed, and it's a little bit stronger. 375 right there when it comes to the amount of meta currency that we got. Thou hast brought justice to Canudos, Clockmaker. Madam, didst thou see whither they took the counselor? Oh, what joy thou hast brought to the people of Monte Santo. Okay, Saints Mountain, huh? Comrade, thou hast managed to retrieve our wood. Canudos shall live, God willing. Hey, they fixed the stairs, too. We can touch a great bell. Did the great bell say that it wanted to be touched? I've repaired access to the stairs. Okay.
A grande seca matou o pasto, o gado e até os mais bravos vaqueiros. Centenas de milhares vagaram sem rumo pelos caminhos do sertão. Canudos surgiu como uma luz de esperança para o povo que insistia em acreditar na misericórdia divina. Do Monte Santo fluiu leite e brotou o milho que alimentaram o rebanho do nosso Senhor. Mas aqueles que poderiam mudar alguma coisa em sua vilania viram na desgraça alheia uma maneira sórdida de continuar prosperando. A ganância do ouro. anticristo estava sedento por sangue. Com seu ouro, seu ferro e seu fogo, banharam o Monte Santo com o sangue do trabalhador sertanejo. Mesmo os velhos, mulheres e crianças não foram poupados do massacre. E como um ritual demoníaco, mutilaram meu corpo para aprisionar a minha alma. Pois enquanto houvesse esperança no coração dos sertanejos, temiam que Canudos pudesse renascer. Meu filho, a nossa história está viva no resto do grande sino de Canudos. Você precisa restaurar o nosso legado. Todos precisam saber sobre o que de fato aconteceu em Canudos.
I have a question for the people that speak Portuguese. Are they speaking like old medieval Portuguese as what? Because the subtitles are all in like old Shakespearean English. And so I've come to understand over the last 10 years or so that every single language on earth has like that antiquated version of speaking it from 600, 700 years ago that's got like the King James thing going on. I know there's like a medieval version of Japanese and Korean and everything else too. And so I was curious if they're speaking like an older version of Portuguese right now. When your number of total soul stones collected reaches a certain threshold, you will gain points to invest at the Great Bell. Okay. Let's do it. Confirm it, baby. So I have 4 points. I can get more damage. We've got more life. I want more mana, like, really badly. I do think that mana is going to be pretty principally important in the way that I play through, especially with this repeater build. I've never met a channeled ability that I don't enjoy. So we've got relics over here. Oh, we keep these? Ooh, nice. Okay, so we're doing like the last epoch thing. And it looks like we can upgrade the relics, and we can also destroy the relics in order to get meta currency or some kind of currency that'll make our lives better there. I'm feeling it. Okay, I think I've got most of my abilities figured out that I like so far. Let's try out double knives on this go. That feels pretty good to me. I will bring back the counselor, even if I must descend to the depths of hell. Okay. Madam, didst thou also see the good counselor? Please forgive this old fool at this hour. He must be praying at mass. Okay. Let's get the extra mana keepsake, because we don't have anything in that slot right there. We could get tier 2 leather bracers, which would boost us up by like 3% attack speed. But for right now, that's perfectly fine by me. Closing thoughts about this playtest. Everything is really fantastic here. This is a really, really good idea. The second that I heard the pitch, I would have funded it personally if I was going into my own pocket. And so the second they were like, we have an idea that's like, how can we condense an entire 50-hour Path of Exile experience into a 15-minute run? And I thought to myself instantaneously, that's a beautiful, fantastic idea. And for the most part, they have managed to execute well here. Everything from the graphic set to the way that the game sounds and feels is quite good. My only reservation about the game right now is the conflict between WASD controls and moving with left click when you have anything assigned to your left click. If you play the playtest for yourself, you'll see what I mean. It makes the game feel very stilted and stutter-steppy. I personally started enjoying the game the second I unbound my left mouse key from everything and just started cruising with a channeled spammable ability on my right click and ignoring everything else. That's where the real fun of this game started to come on out, and I do think that they're going to have to figure out that conflict and how to make it feel good as the game goes forward in its development. It looks like the game is also going to have controllers at some point. I don't know if that's implemented yet, but there is a controller area in the options that's grayed out. So it's possible that conflict has arisen from trying to set the game up from a controller's perspective. However, my observation is that the easiest solution here is allow the player to keep moving while firing at like 30% movement speed, basically. And if you can get the timing right on the engage to that speed nerf and the disengage to it and get it feeling very snappy in between where the player presses down on a mouse and releases on a mouse, this game is going to be a bopper. I really like what they're playing around with here, and honestly, this is probably one of my favorite demos that I've fooled around with in the last few weeks, I would say. And so my name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today, we were fooling around with a title called Hell Clock. tomorrow we'll be playing around with something else. I'm looking forward to seeing how this game develops. Very good work, developers. You've created something that's interesting. Might need a little bit more work on the enemy variety end too. That's the other thing that I noticed that I almost forgot. I wasn't taking notes with this one. I kind of just dove into it. Normally I have a little notepad that I keep on my desk with thoughts and observations. Enemy variety. Enemy variety could be topped up a little bit as well. I would aim for like each act should probably have between, I'm trying to think how many enemies I've seen here. I've seen probably 5 or 6. I would bump that up by 4 or 5 more for each act, just so you get a nice feeling of variety as you churn your way through the body pile out here. But by and large, this is one of those games that actually, they did a really good job with it. Oh, also, allow players to activate their dash while channeling or casting an ability. Allow them to break the animation right there. It'll make the game feel much more fluid and smooth. Right now, you can see me pushing the spacebar. I can't dash out of this. Let the player dash out of it while actively engaged inside the animation, and then they have to right-click to reinitiate it after the dash. I'll see y'all later. Thank you for stopping on in, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, folks.